Welcome to this episode of Horrific History and Hauntings. I'm Beth.
And I'm Raimi. We're your hosts, here to talk about the stories that the history book ignores.
From horrific epidemics and ghostly hauntings to the catastrophes and tragic events that have sickened humanity.
I would ask you what happened today in history, but I found something today that needs to go down in history as a tragedy.
Okay, go for it, because the one I found wasn't very interesting.
Well, here it is.
This is This is a cup noodles campfire s'mores with natural and artificial flavors, ramen noodles and sauce. That cannot be good.
I told you it was a true tragedy.
Are you going to eat this?
I'm probably going to give it to my cousin Aiden. I'll try it. I'll try a small chopstick full of ramen s'mores. I hear the breakfast ones are good.
I can handle breakfast, but s'mores? No, I don't think sweet when I think cup of noodles.
I don't either. But I'll give it a shot. But really, what is the true history?
Oh,
tragic.
Wait a minute.
We got distracted, but this isn't a food podcast, but I really had to point that out to you.
Well, I'm not going to go into it, but on July 14th, which is the day we're recording, 1918, Quentin Roosevelt, a U.S. pilot and the son of former President Theodore Roosevelt, was shot down and killed by a German plane over the Marne River in France. I don't know how to say that river's name.
Okay.
But, yeah.
That's a big event.
Yeah.
It's pretty devastating to the country, but my morale dropped a bit when I seen that ramen.
Yeah, the ramen was definitely more interesting.
I'm sure at the time this was a big deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I look at it the way Sawbones looks at it, as in the person they're talking about would have probably been dead by now, regardless of how healthy he lived. So that's a little bit less tragic. I mean, of course, he died early, so that is sad. What are we doing today?
Alphabet of Death.
Ah, yes. Okay, I like these episodes.
Oh, yeah. Well, this one's, like I said before we started recording, I only did R. I didn't do 2 letters this time. It's just going to be a really short episode, and until I get some things figured out, that's just the way it's going to have to be.
And sorry for all the delays. We're working on it. We really are.
I apologize for my poor mental health and the fact I have depression.
It's okay. I suspect it will only get worse as election time draws near.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine has been acting up. My anxiety has went wild.
I can't even hardly watch TikTok anymore without getting a panic attack. Honestly, like this is just... Oh, and it's the only app other than Pinterest that I even use that's even close to social media. Once in a while I'll go on YouTube, but here recently I've just been using that to watch old movies.
Instagram Reels is pretty chill. You should try it. I found myself laughing out loud quite a lot watching Instagram Reels lately.
Oh.
So give Instagram Reels a shot.
Pretty much, we're going to work more on the house. And at the moment that we're recording, he's actually battling the bees and the wasps on the back porch.
Okay.
So, got to work on the house.
It isn't just her anxiety and depression that acts up. It is the fact that she has been fairly busy. Her fiance's a firefighter, and every time I turn around, she's gone to some event.
Yeah, they've had a lot of events here recently.
Yeah, so
I
had to postpone
realize,
this recording.
And he works for 2 different ones.
Yeah.
So
we had to postpone this recording because of a chicken event of some sort.
It was a smoked barbecue chicken thing. The chicken was really good. But it was definitely good for my mental health. It made me feel a lot better to be able to drive that far and not just in circles around my own town.
Yeah.
Which really helps.
You know what got to me? We have sidetracked ourselves so far. Yeah. But I might as well say, what got to me? I was supposed to stream, or at least record and post videos of me playing the new Elden Ring DLC that came out. Mm-hmm. My save state that I worked so hard on to get to the point where I could go to the DLC, because you have to play like halfway through the game. Mm-hmm. And it's a hard game. My save state messed up. I've had to start replaying the game.
Oh, see, I was actually playing Fallout because I got to a point that I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do or where I was supposed to go. And then I had Joey helping me, telling me what to do. And that was the day that the damn power went off in the middle of it. And I was like, to hell with it. I give up for now. I'm just going to put it down for another month or so.
You do know it autosaves. So the last door you went outside of will be the place it
was
back.
A while back. I had already went through trenches and...
Oh, you were playing the Anchorage thing in Fallout 3.
Like, I know it saved some of it, but I was in the middle of doing something else, and it just irritated me. So, and then once the power finally turned back on, I was like, I feel like I should shoot some zombies. And I started playing Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But now you've caught up on all of our daily happenings because we do take a bit of time between recordings now. So now you know why my Elden Ring thing hasn't happened and some of the recordings have been a little late. It's been a wild few months for us. I don't know if it's a summer thing. Maybe it's a summer thing.
Maybe.
Alphabet of death. What are we talking about?
Well, first, R is for
road rage.
Yeah, that does.
You can get killed during road rage incidents.
Absolutely. Rats. I'm going to go with rats.
Yeah, they spread plague or eat you alive if you're not careful and they're hungry, I guess.
Or rapists.
Ew, I think they become murderers after that.
Yeah.
After that. I guess you can be classified as a rapist murderer easily enough, but...
Or rakes if you use them right.
I about killed my grandpa with a rake. I dropped a big... one of those spiky ones, not the, the
little flimsy ones.
Not the flimsy yard rakes, but one of these kinds you use in a garden or on concrete to help level it out. He handed me one as a child, and I dropped it, and it hit him right in the back of the head. And I cried and thought I'd killed him, and he's bleeding everywhere, and I ran away, and he came in and gave me $5.
Oh. Man, I wonder if I go around hitting people in the head with a rake, if they'll give me $5.
Probably not.
Or, a felony.
Yeah, that'll happen. Oh, it was terrifying. I still remember all the blood.
Oh.
Okay.
Revolving doors is first.
Of course they are.
Yeah. They kind of freak me out, too. I haven't had to go through many.
I think I only went through like 3 in my life.
Yeah.
I think I was in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I think you're right. But it does kind of seem spooky to think you might get caught up in one.
They make some good short videos on TikTok, Vine, and places like that.
In 2004, there were 12,231 reported injuries involving revolving doors.
Uh-huh.
One incident involved an 80-year-old man in Midtown Manhattan who got trapped inside the revolving door with his walker. Bless his heart.
I guess it upset him.
Well, he suffered a stroke.
It really upset him.
And they couldn't get to him to rescue him in time.
Oh, no. Well, that makes sense. He's literally stuck in the door.
Yeah. Another tragedy occurred when a 6-year-old boy got his head caught between a revolving door panel and the other chamber wall, which led to his death.
What?
I don't know why children always want to poke their heads in places that
Is it automatic revolving doors?
I think so.
They just sit there and fan? Well, that sounds dangerous.
There are some that do it automatically, I believe. But I don't think there should be. I think it should be
manual.
Yeah.
Also, I guess during the pandemic and stuff, times like that, it makes no sense to have people touching the door.
Yeah.
So maybe automatic is the way to go.
I like those.
Why not put up a normal door?
When I was on vacation, when we stopped at some of the gas stations to use the bathroom along the way, they had these little foot things that you open the door with, which I really liked.
I do too, yeah.
Another case was when a 37-year-old woman was struck in the ankle, ouch, by a fast-moving revolving door. Can you imagine how horrible that must have hurt, especially for her because it ruptured her anterior tibial artery. What? I didn't know there was an artery there, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, but apparently there's an artery.
So she was bleeding on interior, like inside, or did she bleed outside?
It was an internal bleeding.
Her foot became like a big red balloon.
Yes, she died from internal bleeding.
What?
Because this ruptured
looks like you noticed your foot swelling up and turning red.
I think she did. I'm sure she felt it.
I guess.
You ever hit your ankle? Shit hurts.
Yeah, but who would hit their ankle and think, this is fatal?
Me. At the moment I'm hitting my ankle, I'm like, I'm dying. It's like when you stub your pinky toe.
It really hurts, and you curse a lot or something, but you don't think, I'm dying now. You think to yourself, I feel like I'm dying, but I'll be fine. It'll pass pretty quick. But then she's like, well, this isn't passing. Matter of fact, I think I will be passing.
Even when I'm having chest pains, I'm at that point where I'm just like, it'll pass. It's fine. If not, it's okay. It'll be fine.
Something's going to change
Just
regardless.
throw me in the ocean.
Take me to the Atlantic.
Since 1970, mechanical devices like revolving doors, escalators, auto lifts, and automatic doors have caused around 7,491 deaths since the time the book was published in 2006.
Which probably more, especially since the pandemic. I can imagine.
Yeah.
All the automation done in doors and things at that time, what that could have done.
Yeah.
I don't see the practicality in the revolving doors. Imagine trying to escape a fire.
I don't know.
Twirling.
It seems like the sliding doors, like, at most stores nowadays would just
I guess
be
the revolving door
enough.
came first, and some places just haven't changed.
I don't know.
It certainly makes entering and exiting more orderly, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to crowd a revolving door. The crowd can form on either side, but
I don't know. I feel like I would panic because I don't like people all up in my space. But even if there is a glass between us, I would feel like I'm too close
Yeah.
to this person. But next on the list is riots.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. The first civil rights protest happened in 1811 when 500 enslaved people led by Charles of the Deslonde plantation in Louisiana revolted. I don't know if I said Deslonde. Deslonde? I don't know French, and I'm assuming that's a French thing. I don't know though.
Don't ask me.
They abandoned their tools, armed themselves, and marched towards New Orleans to free all slaves.
That's a noble cause.
Yes. The protest turned violent, with non-slaves being killed and plantations being set on fire along the way.
How could it not turn violent at the time?
Yeah. Just 10 miles from the city, they were confronted by U.S. government troops. Over 200 people died in what became known as the Slave Riot. 56 leaders were hanged, and their heads were displayed along the Mississippi River to discourage further uprisings.
You know, that sounds very Roman, doesn't it? Romans had one of those. I'm pretty sure Spartacus is a whole thing about that.
This was not in the time that you would think they would be placing people's heads on
pikes.
Yeah.
It's very Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Seems like that should have ended long before.
Uh-huh.
In 1831, Nat Turner, an enslaved man in Virginia, began organizing a protest. Over 100 enslaved people joined Turner, and their protest quickly turned violent. They began killing white people, including 23 children, 18 women, and 13 men.
The children?
I don't see why you had to kill the children. Why'd you have to kill the children? What? That's not their fault. Like, yes, I understand you're angry for a very good reason. But why are you killing kids? What's that proving?
Only 13 men. How many of the men took off to leave the women?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand. Why all the women? Why all the children? Mostly the children is my concern.
Families were big back then. So the thing is, those women and children are probably home alone.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And honestly, like I said, what does that even prove? What, you're just killing children? That's not going to make anybody like you.
Unfortunately, no. Of course, the same thing happened to them all the time. Children taken away and all that, murdered.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But you should, I don't know.
Tough situation that we really don't know.
Yeah. I wasn't
how
there.
we would react because we've never been in that situation.
Let's hope we never end up in that situation.
Yeah. Turner's group also brutally beat Black individuals who refused to support them.
If you go look at it this point of view, look what happened 200 and some in New Orleans, and then you only have 100, and the things you've done is certainly going to cause, there's going to be some sort of retaliation.
Yeah.
And you only have 100 people.
Troops eventually dispersed and captured most of the protesters. Turner, along with 100 of his followers and 40 suspected sympathizers, were hanged.
Suspected. That's a dangerous word.
Suspected.
Yeah.
Not innocent until proven guilty. Suspected.
Yeah. These times were terrible then.
Yeah. In January 1837, apparently 1800s was a really angry time.
It was.
Fires wiped out wheat supplies, sending flour prices soaring to $15 a barrel.
Oh.
This caused the cost of bread to rise by just a single penny, but in...
Okay. I'm laughing at what's surely leading to a famine.
However, in an economy that's already in chaos, every cent counts.
Obviously.
At this point, I understand every penny counts in the world we're living in today.
There's a penny in my dryer, and it keeps, when the dryer stops and I take my clothes out, it's still on tails. So I just leave it in there until eventually, and it's been there for like 3 or 4 cycles now.
Oh, I ain't taking your bad luck today.
I refuse. I'm leaving it there until it turns up on heads once.
Oh, that's poor penny.
I hear it every time the dryer's running. It's going ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Frustrated, New Yorkers took to the streets with signs and chants demanding lower prices for bread, meat, rent, and fuel.
Well, that escalated. What happened to just the bread?
I think that's what we're heading towards. Protests in the streets. We want cheap bread, fuel, rent,
Our gas prices around here,
groceries in general.
They're as cheap as they've been nearly since the pandemic, which was dirt cheap.
I actually haven't paid attention to the gas prices.
The bread, I can get bread for $1, which is very affordable.
See, I'm picky about my bread though, because that cheap bread, it crumbles way too easily when I'm trying to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay. Well, I'm saying prices have came down on a lot of things in the area. I don't know about wherever the listener is, but here it's almost back to pandemic times when a lot of things were fairly cheap, especially gas. Some things went skyrocketing high, but it's not that bad now. Meat is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
But I ain't gonna go out and protest it because I got plenty of bread and some s'mores ramen. You know how much I paid for the s'mores ramen? $2.
I think I would starve, but it's okay. These protests escalated into what was called the bread riots.
There's been many of those out of history, I'm sure.
The mobs ransacked stores and warehouses, which created chaos and left the streets covered in flour and wheat.
So much for all the bread you need.
Yeah, you're wasting it.
Yeah.
It took police intervention to finally stop the chaos, but not before 34 lives were lost due to bread.
Rioting. That's a very flammable situation to be in.
Yeah.
Flour burns.
Yeah.
At a time when people were lighting candles.
In 1863, President Lincoln introduced America's first draft law, sparking the draft riots. The law allowed wealthier individuals to avoid military service by paying $300 or hiring someone else to go in their place.
That's a little
fucked up.
Yeah.
This was a hefty sum for the regular working class people.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just forced to go die for their country while the rich are just sitting on their thrones, paying somebody else to do it or just paying a $300 fee.
But at least they're getting paid, I guess.
Instead of directing their anger at lawmakers, rioters blamed the Emancipation Proclamation, viewing the Civil War solely as a battle against slavery. In response, white rioters in New York target free black residents.
Are you serious?
Leading to horrific scenes of lynching and burning.
They're the ones that made this draft law. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. They claimed around 1,000 lives over 4 days, and it was said to be the deadliest riot in American history.
Oh, so far.
Yup. I feel like, considering what has happened yesterday, we're in for some real anxiety.
I never should have watched that movie, Civil War.
One of America's most intense labor uprising, which I believe we've talked about this before on another episode, was the Great Railroad Strike of 1877. They saw 700,000 workers across 26 states protest for higher wages.
That happens a lot, too.
Yeah. In Baltimore, tensions peaked when state militia fired into a crowd of strikers, leaving 11 dead and 40 wounded. Andre Carnegie's advisor, Thomas Scott, suggested striking workers would be given, quote, a rifle diet for a few weeks.
Yeah, Carnegie made a mistake hiring that dude. I watched a group of documentaries called The Men Who Made America. And Carnegie's, the Scott was a rough character.
Yeah. No wonder people were pissed off.
I'm pretty sure he also let a dam break loose on some folks one time and kill a bunch of people.
Well, he sounds like a
I might be wrong,
person.
But I'm pretty sure that's what he let that done. He had like a hunting club or a gentleman's club or something out in the middle of nowhere, had a dam built, and then just let it break. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy that done it.
I don't know.
It was a big PR problem.
This statement led to the War Department to create the National Guard to handle future disorder. Racial riots erupted across the 1960s in connection with the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah.
In 1965, 6 days of rioting in Los Angeles' Watts neighborhood resulted in 34 deaths and over 1,000 injuries. Chicago saw 2 deaths and 65 injuries from riots in 1966, and the Newark riots in 1967 left 23 dead.
Shoo.
While Detroit experienced related riots on the same day that resulted in 43 dead. In total, 7,000 people were arrested, but not before 1,300 buildings were destroyed and 2,700 businesses were looted. During the Vietnam era, numerous...
That got rough too.
Yeah, numerous anti-war protests escalated into riots as emotions ran high. In May 1970, at Jackson State College in Mississippi, the National Guard fired 400 shots in a dormitory, killing 2 students and injuring 12. Just weeks earlier, anti-war protesters confronted the Ohio National Guard at Kent State University, where 13 students were shot and 4 died. 2 of the students that were killed were not even a part of the protest. They were just simply minding their business while heading to class. The LA riots of 1992 ignited after 4 Los Angeles police officers caught on national TV beating Rodney King. They were found not guilty.
I remember watching something on this too.
Chaos ensued and 3,600 fires started blazing. 4,000 National Guardsmen were called in. When the dust settled several days later, the city counted $1 billion in damages and 52 lives were lost.
LA goes through a lot of these, don't they?
I don't know. I don't pay too much attention.
There's been a few you've mentioned here about LA.
Road debris is next.
Yeah, you ever watch Final Destination?
In Wichita, Kansas, a 36-year-old woman was driving her school bus route when a pipe fell off of a plumbing truck. It bounced along the highway and crashed through the bus windshield, tragically killing her.
That's Final Destination.
The bus veered off the road and injured 30 children aboard.
I'd say the injuries to their body wasn't the only kind of injury they had.
A little bit of trauma.
Yeah, no more highway travel for them.
In Florida, a long metal bar resembling a spear pierced through the windshield of a car on the interstate. The bar struck a 13-year-old girl, piercing her chest and pinning her to the seat.
I take it she died.
I'm going to assume so.
They have to have a scene like that in every emergency responders-based television show.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everyone. And in the movie Signs.
Yeah. On November 19th, 1998, acclaimed film director Alan Pakula, age 70 and known for the To Kill a Mockingbird, was tragically killed on the Long Island Expressway. A metal pipe crashed through his windshield, causing his death instantly. Every year, around 1,413 people lose their lives on the road due to debris. What's with all the metal pipes? I think road debris, and I'm thinking those blown up tires.
Alligators?
I think they're called alligators.
I think that too, but I guess all it does is ruin your vehicle and cause you to swerve, if anything else.
Well,
the pipes, I think it should be required by law that they have a back against whatever vehicle's hauling pipes, so things can't just slide off the back. Because pipes are, if you have enough of them, just slide off of each other, no matter how much strap you have around them.
Yeah.
And clearly, that's a good sign right there that you should. Also, rocks. Can you imagine being on the interstate in a motorcycle and rocks? Because I've had them hit the windshield and stuff. You know what they could do to you?
See, I like Google Maps because there's an option if there's something in the road, you can click on it and warn other people that are using Google Maps. But it seems like all people ever do when it comes to those notifications is tell you when there's a speed trap or when there's a wreck.
Yeah.
But, which is also helpful. Well, maybe not for the speed trap because I don't speed. I really wish people would be like, yo, there's something in the road. Next on the list is roller coasters, which we had pretty much
a whole episode about.
Pretty much. It was an amusement park.
It's one of our best episodes. One of my favorite. I'll actually go back and listen to that one sometimes because it makes me laugh.
So, I mean, if you're interested in that one, go back to that episode.
Maybe we should do an international episode about theme parks and such.
Maybe. I haven't really thought about international.
Well, you know there's countries out there with a lot of worse accidents. Spoiler if you haven't listened to that episode. You remember that episode when we talked about the Shawnee Park where the girl was on one of the swings?
Yeah, that was the amusement park one.
And hits the truck and dies. Or the truck backs into the swing and kills her and dies. I've seen an Instagram reel yesterday. I sent it to you. Where it looked like an Asian country. I don't know where.
Mm-hmm.
And the truck had backed up. And the swing, every swing was hitting it. Every child. Dong, 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 dong. I couldn't figure out what was going on. This is every child on the swing.
Oh. Well.
I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, they couldn't put it on Instagram.
Well, the kid that fell from the big tower thing that drops down, they showed it on YouTube.
Yeah, they did that too. Okay, well.
And I always ride those when the fair comes around
like
too.
The easiest thing to deal with. Yeah, like the most sturdy.
Yeah.
I guess you're literally sitting yourself on a slingshot, though.
Yeah. In 1980, a 26-year-old man from Missouri slouched down in the roller coaster car hoping for another free ride.
Oh.
Which it said another, so how many times did he do that before?
Yeah.
Mistakenly thinking the car was empty, the operator diverted it to a service area with a low clearance. And as a result, the man's head was crushed between the seat and an overhead wooden beam.
I wonder if he was screaming for them to stop, or he just thought he was going on a ride.
Oh.
He went on a ride, all right.
Have you ever been on it's in Dollywood, is it Rockin' Roller Coaster?
Yeah.
And it has those signs that it looks like you're going to whack your head into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the episode we had, somebody did hit their head on something. I think it was Disney or somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah. In 1985, a 29-year-old man lost his life on the Cyclone roller coaster in Coney Island. He stood up to participate in a wave. Why are you standing up on a roller coaster? How do you stand up on a roller coaster?
It's the 80s. A lot of cocaine.
And then he was struck on the head by a crossbeam, resulting in his death. Pop.
I mean, it could have been his wrists. What? If you had your hands up, it would have been the same. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Another incident on the Cyclone occurred in 1988 when a 26-year-old roller coaster maintenance worker, who often rode in the last car on his lunch breaks, stood up as the car started its descent down the first hill. He was ejected from the car and fell 30 feet onto a crossbeam, resulting in his death. Why was there no seat belts or
that seems to be the big issue
anything on these things?
Yeah, because people
if you can stand up, there's a problem.
They need stronger regulations.
I'm not getting on it.
I say that, then I'm pretty sure I rode things at the fair that are just like the kiddie roller coasters they have.
Well,
and they just go up and down like a snake.
Yeah, those makes a little more sense. They're not like huge.
It's less dangerous than riding a school bus over a hump.
Mm-hmm. In 2002, a 24-year-old man from California entered a restricted area of the Great America theme park to grab his hat. He climbed a 6-foot fence and went underneath the Top Gun roller coaster.
I think it's happened here recently. Another man went to pick up his hat and got struck. I've seen that on the news.
I guess they really like their hats.
A lot of people do.
He was then struck in the head by the leg of a passenger dangling from the speeding rod, and he died moments later before reaching.
Someone gets to say, I kicked a man in the head so hard he died. By accident. This is a tragedy, yeah. And I wonder if the person...
I wonder how that person's leg is.
You had to have break something, didn't it? Bone is bone.
I mean, if you're kicking him hard enough to kill him, that had to hurt your leg.
Mm-hmm. Because nobody hops on there putting their foot flat. Because maybe it'd be okay if your foot was flat out, but having it toe first you've stubbed your toe before, it hurts.
I stubbed my toe on a man's head.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
In May 2004, a man tragically fell to his death from the Boston Superman roller coaster after being unable to secure his harness due to his weight.
Now, why did they allow that to happen?
I don't know. He fell 300 feet to the ground.
Well, that was a nightmare.
And then he died.
You don't say. To his death, and then he died.
Yeah.
I love the roller coaster ones.
Yeah.
These are tragedies, but I guess you're accepting a certain amount of risk when you hopped on these things, and it makes it a little bit more, to me, it makes it a little bit more acceptable to laugh a little bit. But because when I'm hopping on one, I think to myself, I could die here pretty easily. This is literally a dangerous situation. That's why you hop on them. It's like skydiving. You could die there. There's a higher chance than your average activity, is what I should say. Unfortunately, that does happen occasionally.
Yeah.
But this right here, this is like literally out of nightmares. People are afraid of their harnesses not fastening and things. Now, if you get on one that literally doesn't have a harness, then you are the problem.
Yeah, I'm not. After hearing this, I probably wouldn't even go on the little kitty ones without harness.
Yeah. Lots of heavy things moving
Where's
around
my
there.
safety belt?
Somebody best get
a rope to hold on to, something.
A ratchet strap, please.
Oh, shit bar. I mean...
Anything other than just flailing about wildly on this ride.
But then again, there's, like we've mentioned before, this was just what was in this book. There was another episode about haunted and tragic amusement park things. And then there's also more than that, obviously. But
yeah.
We
covered the ones in America. And,
yeah.
Because they're fun. They're fun to just look at. I know, like I said, they're tragedies, but they're kind of fun ones. And some of them, what was the one with Action Park?
That
one was just wild.
I loved that one.
I watched the documentary.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the documentary was hilarious.
We took a whole episode about how people die and made it into a laughing incident.
And you know what? I needed that. It's okay.
I'm going to have to listen to the...
I actually didn't put... I was thinking this would be a lot shorter where I only put the R.
Yeah.
But I didn't put S because, well, I'm going to go ahead and spoiler... Not technically a spoiler because it ain't going to be any information. Serial killer was the next for S.
That can go on forever.
It had so many. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing a 5-hour episode for Alphabet of Death.
Oh.
These are supposed to be my easy laughing ones, not my struggle to actually get through them.
We went through a lot of true crime here lately. And technically, we don't even include that in our description. I have to add it in now as a thing. True crime. We cover true crime.
Yeah.
Because I like the haunted, spooky places. Like, what was the island we covered?
Pavilia?
Pavilia Island. Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, it was a little bit of horrific history, too. That's why I like that. It wasn't just the haunting part.
Oh, yeah. That makes it fun. The history part. I'll send you some more ideas. I've been watching a thing called Mysteries of the Abandoned.
Oh.
It's different abandoned places and stuff they've done. And I'll save a few of those and send them to you to give you some ideas on what to research about that if you like.
Okay.
And our Aunt Kathy has sent us something, or mentioned something. I asked her.
Actually, let me go ahead and put that. I don't remember if I put it in my episodes ideas. So, do you know what it is?
I'll look at it. I don't have it now.
Oh, no. Well, Mom wants me to do one on the case of the guy that murdered the pregnant girl in Grundy that she had to go to his execution.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have things to do, and we do make the time to record them is the hard part.
Yeah.
That is the issue here. We're sorry for the delays again.
Some of them that actually require research for me is also, it takes time. And I've been trying to figure out my mental health. There's also that. Yeah.
We'll have another episode out in a couple weeks as the schedule is now. And again, I guess that's all for this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I got some good laughs and some horrible things. The riots and the slave revolts. That was pretty rough. But otherwise, it was okay. A lot of interesting ways to go out here.
I think the worst part of it was your ramen.
I don't know. Maybe the tens of children who died in the revolts. That would have been bad.
Apologize to your taste buds when you try.
We'll see.
I guess children dying is.
Yeah, the children dying in the riots or the slave revolts were pretty bad. So, if you like what you heard here, we have many other episodes to listen to, and we also have other podcasts like Brother Knows Quest. It's a podcast where I tell Beth here about different tabletop role-playing games each week. Or Leveling Duo. It's a podcast me and Beth, or me and Dakota, my friend, do that we talk about video games we like. But since there's video games, not all of them I like, so we don't talk about them. There are sporadic episodes in that. In the description, there will be a Linktree link. It will take you to all of our socials if you want to reach out that way or get updates about what we're going to do or anything happens in general. X is the one we tend to update the most. Yeah, you can reach out with any of them, though. If you want to send us a direct message or something, we'll get that. And we have an email down there you could reach us on. We have a link that lets you send us a tip or donation, anything you want to do that. It helps, keeps the podcast open with the hosting fees. That we appreciate that. You leave us a review, reach out. Any of those emails, please let us know. We like having different ideas and things to cover. If you have a particularly fun one, even though it's a tragedy, we love stuff like that. We can't learn everything ourselves.
If anybody has any kind of horrific history or any personal stories that are of hauntings or spookiness or anything like that, feel free to email me because, I have episode ideas, but also I've been in kind of a rut lately, and it would be easier to just be able to read off some stories from other people.
Yeah,
to help me
personally
out
fond of things like that. If you're willing to share, no pressure on you there. Not everybody likes to. Check out the links below. And again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient and listening after we took these long breaks. We try not to do it, but and thank you for bearing with us. Thank you again. I've been Rami.
And I'm Beth.
And this has been HH&H. Bye-bye.